Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million in sales? And like I always share with you, 98% of the success of the entrepreneur is in the mindset. And today we have a mindset coach with us joining from United States. So Susan, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, my name is Susan Taylor, and I am a transformative mindset coach and online facilitator. I've been in business for about 30 years,
Wow.
and I focus on helping people to use mindsets as a way to help them lead in their business, entrepreneurially, and also small organizations.
So why you decided 30 years ago to become an entrepreneur? What happened?
I had my first child.
Oh, that's interesting. So
So
you
I
have your
actually,
first child and what happened?
what happened? So thank you for the question. I was on maternity leave. I was 28 years old, and I had been working in corporate for the few years since graduating from university.
Wow.
And I was holding this beautiful new life in my hands, and something just shifted in me with regard to an understanding that there was something missing in the corporate arena that wasn't calling to me, that wasn't creating a space where I was feeling fulfilled in my work. And so it was in that moment when I decided during my 12 weeks of maternity leave, I would start my own business. And I started my own business in Raleigh, North Carolina, where my daughter
Wow,
was
I've been there,
born.
yeah.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. And it was basically to start a bricks and mortar because I wanted people who were traveling to the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area. We had a lot of travelers in business, particularly in the medical industry. I wanted them to have a place to come where they could just be human, where they could have a reprieve, where they could have access to a conference room or a secretarial services or what have you. So we started there with bricks and mortar, and then I had to move to Massachusetts. So when I moved to Massachusetts, it became a virtual business.
Wow.
And I was like
Yeah.
a VA before they ever existed. And that's how it all started. And then the mindset coaching piece came along as I got my degree in psychology and certification in psychotherapy.
So this is what I want to know because what were you doing in your corporate life? What was the task that you were doing in as a corporate? You were working in sales, marketing. What was your background in corporate?
My background in corporate was administrative and office management.
Oh my God. Okay, office management. So now, why you live the comfortable life of corporate that they pay you very good money, and you actually have your management position, and you know how it's corporate, right? They pay you good money because they want you to be comfortable to have in your life. So what happened in your mind after your maternity leave that you decide to give up the secure and go to the very risky and insecure world of the entrepreneurs? When anybody in your family told you that you were crazy, or what happened with your friends and family when you told them, no, I'm quitting and I'm gonna have my own thing? What happened?
Yeah. So they did think I was crazy. And for
Everyone,
me, I mean,
oh
I've been
my
called
God.
that a lot.
So you have a baby and now you become crazy. What's your that should be the hormones, they might say, yeah.
Probably, yeah. I'm sure that had a little to do with it. But the bigger piece of it, the biggest piece of it
Uh-huh.
was being in the corporate arena was soul sucking.
People drain
And
on your energy, right?
right. And I'm holding this new life, my daughter, in my hands, and I wanted to be an example for her. And I wanted to show her what it would be like to live from a place of authenticity, from a place that called to my heart in ways where I was creating wealth, including financial wealth,
Mm-hmm.
in ways that felt more authentic to me,
Mm-hmm.
in ways where I felt a zest for life and I wanted to get up in the morning and actually, do the tasks and
Live it, yeah.
activities.
And
Yeah.
yeah, because I know, because as a life as an employee, right? um, Sometimes it becomes very draining. You are in this space, and if the organization is not managed well, or the culture, we can call the culture of the company, right? It doesn't
Right.
align with you, with your values, or with what you feel. It becomes a little bit conflicted, right? And again, you spend most of your life there in that job, and you live in energy is very important, uh, most of your energy there, and then you decided that you will focus to put all your energy in the
Mhm.
new life that you will design for your daughter and for yourself. That I applaud you for that. It's a great decision, very brave, a little bit risky, especially having a new baby, but a newborn baby. But maybe. So where do you find that courage? You find that courage when you saw your baby that give you strength, and you said you take the decision that you're gonna do, that you can do more, that you can do better, and that you can create your own job as well for you and for your baby, and you don't need to depend on anyone, right?
Right. Right. I mean, I saw a market and I had experience in marketing. I have a degree in marketing as well. And
Wow.
I saw a market for um, organizations to save money by hiring non-employees. So that was the practical basis for it. So I
Probably
knew there
because in
was,
your own job you saw the money wasted, maybe hiring so many employees that were not needed, right? And you got
right.
frustrated. Yeah.
When you hire employees, it costs a lot more than their salary. You've got benefits, you've got tax, all these sorts of things.
Training. Tell me about it. You know how much we spend in training for our employees, and after they quit, you want to cry. Training is very expensive.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking, this is back in 1993. 1993 is when my
Yeah.
daughter
Yeah.
was born. And so there was definitely a practical way in. And as part of that, as they started to trust me and get to know me and I them, then I started to incorporate ideas around how to create culture where they wouldn't lose employees, they could retain their talent,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
In ways that would have that longer term financial stability. And so if you fast forward about 5, 6 years into my own business, I started to shift it to where I wanted to help people build the culture that would attract, which felt very different to me than the cultures that I had been engaged in working for different large organizations.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I just got lucky in a way. I mean, there's some luck to it, right? I think there's intention. There's definitely testing your ideas in the marketplace. There's also a little bit of luck. And it was happening during a time when this idea of purpose, organizational purpose and values were starting to come into mainstream in a deeper way,
Yeah.
and building cultures linked to those values and principles to create really, really awesome workspaces for employees, for all stakeholders, really.
Yeah, Chile is really, is came out of the evolution, because at the end of the day, people, the last thing that they, when you have a startup or small business, the last thing that everybody is looking at the culture, and they don't realize that the impact, the financial impact that culture have in the whole thing,
Mhm.
organization, because that will be the drive. The people at the end of the day is the people that's gonna run the organization. You need people better than you, doing everything better than you, and you need to empower this group of people uh, to do better. And culture is a very important factor out of this, because at the end of the day, after you hire the employee, like you say, it's not easy to get rid of this. You
Sure,
cannot
sure.
fight them. You cannot fight them, and if they are demotivated, that disempowered, or they don't align with the culture that the organization have in the first place, you will have an unproductive task force, and sometimes here they say that one rotten potato can damage the whole sacks, and all this is really expensive, and have a deep damage within the organization. So culture is important, but also even the culture in my own company, right? In our own company, we have to be flexible with our team, with our employees, with everybody that work with us, and create that conscious so they can come and work comfortable to produce more for us. You know what I mean? So it's no point to stress them out or to create a culture that at the end of the day, what all they're gonna do is produce less. Yeah,
Right.
training is a very good part of this, right? We spend a lot in training. We train a lot our employees, but training also costs a lot of money because probably it takes our personal time, right? So, but now also the consumer have become more savvy now, right? They know we have a collaboration with Mary Diamond from the movie The Secret, right? And we launched this series of book Global Conscious Entrepreneurs, right? To raise consciousness about social responsibility for entrepreneurs, and we discovered that the consumer have become very savvy now, right? And they prefer to buy from a company that actually have a positive culture, what includes inclusion, what they do community work, what they empower people. The marketplace has become very conscious about that, and the consumers, they prefer to buy from these companies, right? So at the end of the day, this work on culture is gonna pay off big time in the long term. And so you actually, when people were not even talking about this, you realize that this is it was a big niche. So how you find out about that? How you knew that that working a little bit more on the culture and the organization will pay off big time for them, better than anything else?
Absolutely.
How you find out this?
Right. So interesting. One of my very first assignments when I moved to Massachusetts from North Carolina was an administrative role in a company called Generon International. And Generon International was run by some very amazing thought leaders in the domain of leadership development.
Wow.
So I started with them back in 1995. I'm still with them. I'm a legal partner of the company now.
Wow.
But one of the things that was so cool is that these thought leaders were like on the frontier of all those things that you just shared about. And how can we help develop cultures where you mentioned training? How can we develop leadership to actually create cultures where work activities are a vehicle for growth and development? So that we can be in
Employee have
service.
capacity for growth within.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And as part of that, how can we be there for other? So how can we offer these opportunities for all of our stakeholders, all of our employees, in ways where they're growing and developing, they're feeling fulfilled, they're feeling like they're accomplishing. So yeah, it definitely increases productivity. It definitely increases situations around customer delight. And I think that's where the consciousness piece comes in that you were referring to with regard to conscious consumers. They know when there's a culture that exists like that. They can feel it, if nothing else. And they know because of the way that employees are treating them, in the way that if they're reading about the organization, how its growth platform is performing, how innovative they are with regard to new products, new services. So I think this has become something that is quite fundamental. And I would offer that if we spend 75% of our time as adults working, what if we could make it fulfilling? and not a have to, but a get to. Like, I get to go to work. I get to do these things. My employer's investing in me. I'm reciprocating, investing back in my employer. I mean, I just think it's a win-win.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, and we find in our organization where we have employees when there are people that work for us for over 9 years now, right? And sometimes I'm asking them, I said, look, why you still around? You know, with the background that you have, with even, you know, people will pay you more if you go if you go there that you have been working nine years for me, they will pay you more. So, and we asking them, and the answer that we receive is, Harry, no, we just like to work with you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So there's not even the money. What is the primary drive? And one of the things that we definitely do is we give a very good space for growth. This is from the beginning of our companies. When they go inside our organization, something we make sure, right? That when they leave, when they decide to leave, wherever they go, they're gonna get paid huge amount of money because we train them very good and we turn them into multitask. Yeah, we develop different skills for them. So we gave this capacity for growth. They grow really, really fast. And because they learn so many different things, because on purpose, the tasks that we allocate for them, they are always changing to make
Sure.
sure that they have this personal growth, because this is important for me. Also, it's important for the company as well, because if they know how to do everything, for me it's easy, for us it's easy to, okay, assign this to this, or assign this one. No, it doesn't on holiday, don't worry, the other one knows how to do it, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes even the corporate training, I've been done corporate trainings in banks in South America, and the CEO have been telling me that, Harry, I need you to do a corporate training in this cooperative, this financial institution, because they don't want to change position. The cashier want to be the cashier, the other one has to be here, the other person has to be here, and they don't even want to swap desk. They all want to
Right.
come and be in the same desk, right? So again, goes to culture, right? So that company created that culture like this, and now they need a corporate training like me to go there and enroll them in the new thing, and I start to do this improvement in cultures, right? In the culture of the organization. So I think that when this old way of doing things, like, okay, this is your job, this is 9 to 5 job for you, and you will do this thing, and this is the only thing, and you get paid, and that's the end of it. There is very poor outcomes when you bring people to the organization with this type of mindset, right? And with this type of leadership, if you call it so, right? Um, Especially when you want to leave your organization. We changed the other day, you know, when I was running one of my business and my mom got sick and I need to step away from the business for 1 year. And you know what? The employees, they took leadership and they run the business themselves without me. I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, are you okay? I say, better stay there. We're good. Don't worry about it. You know,
I
so
love that.
I'm like shocked. I said, you don't need me. No, we don't need you. We're better off without you. I'm like, what? So, you know what I mean? The the thing is that, you know, you train employees, you give them this level of trust and this capacity for growth, and that we produce a lot, that they produce it with love. The energy in the company is going to be really good. Yeah. And again, maybe you this part of your own experience, Susan, that the maybe the company you were before, the culture was not right, and you was maybe in the all this energy draining space, right? And and you decided, and I don't know how you took the decision, because a lot of people decide to stay 30 years like this. So what's your message for people that decide to be 30 years because they're afraid of change? What can you tell to these people?
You can do it at any age, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
And we deserve a
And
better life, right?
well, yeah, and linked to what you just shared, I loved your story, Harry, because this idea that your counterparts could go ahead and run the business when you needed to be doing something else. I mean, that just resonates. In Generon, we call that scaffolding. right? So the old ways of doing things that you were talking about, when I first worked in a couple of mostly architecture firms, very large architecture firms across the nation, and development firms. And you were kind of expected to show up at a certain time and leave at a certain time, but you had to stay in your swim lane, right? Everything was very siloed, everything was very fragmented. And what we've developed, my business partners, myself, we've developed something that we call scaffolding. And
I
what
love
happens is we're scaffolding each other so we can all do different parts of everybody else's function as a way to create wholeness. So instead of like being siloed, we're creating spaces for community. We're creating spaces for cross-pollination of knowledge, ideas, helps with creativity, innovation, and it really helps with shifting what could be fixed mindsets around how we could be together as a whole. Instead of me and my job, we're we. We're a we. And we're operating together and we're all in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have the success and the failure as a group, as a team. It's not just one person. It's all the people in the organization create what happens in that organization. Without the people, you don't have the business. And with unhappy people, you have an unhappy business and probably unhappy customers because it ripples out.
An unhappy bank account also.
Probably.
Then, so Susan, why? Tell us a little bit more how you jump into this mindset coach. So I presume that you do it more for corporate clients and for individuals as well, for small business owner. So why do you decide that you want to specialize in the mindset?
Well, I think you actually answered that question at the very beginning when you so generously introduced me and you talked about 98% of the mindsets required to actually create these businesses that are not only in service to their people, their product, and their services, but are growing financially as well as a way to contribute, toward the economy, et cetera. So I usually use the 80-20 rule just as a way to talk about it, but similar to what you shared, mindsets is 80% of what it means to be an entrepreneur, a leader, anything, a good family member, a good employee. And 20% is the action part. 20% is, the doing. So when we understand our mindsets, we understand from where we're doing the different tasks, initiatives, and activities. And that makes all the difference in the world, all the difference in the world.
Yeah. And to explore a bit more about the mindset, because the people might use these terms and this is what we discovered, right? We discovered that the entrepreneur has to work on himself within, right? The more that you grow, the more that you start to sell your first million, because the entrepreneurial path itself is challenging and nobody understands the pressure you have, because you're responsible for the employees, for the client, for the for the account, for the profits, for everything, and you're only one person. And everything at the beginning when you started your own business, you don't have resources, so you have to wear all the hats, and this process can be very stressful and very lonely, and if you don't have the right mentor, the right coach, can be a long process, yeah, until you actually break through with your business. But on top of that, could be situations in the past that can affect your business behavior in the future, and it will show up in your business. I have a story. If I tell you about the mindset, it will blow your mind. We have a friend that when she was a kid, the grandpa was selling, you have a jewelry, right? And the kid goes with 9 years old and said, "Hi, grandpa, I want to have this jewelry like you. What can I do? Can I buy them?" And the grandpa said, "Okay, I'm gonna give you a hen as a present. Yeah, this hen is gonna put eggs. Sell the eggs, and you will have some money, and then you can buy from this emerald from me, or for anybody. You won't need me. If this is what you want, the rocks. The money that the hen will produce will do that for you." It was a Jewish grandpa, yeah. And so what happened? The mom, she started to have more hands and set the eggs in the school to the teachers, everybody. So the kid stuff below the pillow, she has to store all this money, right? That she was making out of selling the eggs, right? And she wants to buy the things, and then the mom find out, and she was really mad. She told her off. She went to the school. She make a big deal out of it. All you teachers are buying from the kid. You should be ashamed of yourself. And then she took out the money and told the kid, listen, I'm taking this money and put it in the bank, and you won't touch anything until you have 18 years old. Yeah. But the time that the girl was 18 years old, the currency of that country was devaluated, and maybe she have, I don't know, $2,000. She only could collect 200. And somehow this has been in the mindset, this instance for her.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman has been successful entrepreneur, has been spent millions, but all of a sudden, it coming back again, the same pattern. You know, something happened that the bank devaluated and everything, and all the millions, all of a sudden, woof, go back to nothing. And so the pattern is showing up, and she had done a great work in herself in the mindset, and now she's doing successfully. By the way, she's doing great, right, in terms of aligning. But you know, if you don't do the work on yourself, sometimes incidents from the past can actually harm your business, and you don't even know what is there. So, how important do you think that is for the entrepreneurs work on the mindset in terms of, you know, to don't hang on to the past, and to heal whatever is there, that if it doesn't get healed or work on, can actually reflect and have an impact on the business?
I think it's incredibly important. I think as entrepreneurs, we need to continually be challenging ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
questioning ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for the faint of heart. We have to trust ourselves, and we have to be willing to see mistakes and challenges as opportunities and learning.
Mm-hmm.
So when I link that to mindsets, especially, you know, look, I grew up in the US, and I went through public school system, and it was all about right or wrong and having the answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas entrepreneurship is about invention, reinventing probably thousands of times in a lifetime that your business is in business. It's about challenging what you think you know and being open to what you don't know, listening to other people's views, trying to learn new ways of doing things that you don't know what you don't know. So it really, I think, it's not for everybody. Some people like more structure. For those of us, I think, who like to have more agility, for those of us who are more interested in, you know, inquiry and curiosity, questioning ourselves, learning constantly, it's like a continuous opportunity to learn, and then fail fast, fail often, right? Iterate, reiterate, iterate again, reiterate. We think the market wants this. Market changes, a pandemic hits. What are you going to do? Right? So,
Tell me about it. So, and we have to have the mindset strong, because if we panic, what's gonna happen with the employees? What's gonna happen with everyone? Yeah, sometimes, and sometimes you have to have this mindset to that you have to figure out what to do, and
right.
and how the market will go in your direction. So, Susan, what are the 5 steps that people should be doing out there to achieve the first million in sales?
There you go. Okay, so the first one is something we've been talking about a lot, I think, in this conversation, which is know thyself. Know thyself, right? Understand your mindsets. Be authentic to who you are. Do things that you feel called to do. Be engaged in things that tap in, not just to your mind, but into your heart. And have the consciousness and awareness to continually learn about what makes you tick and where you need to grow and develop. And again, I'll just go back to mindsets, 80% to 98% of the battle there, which is the second piece, right? Those mindsets matter. That's the bottom line. Mindsets matter. And if I see every single mistake, if I see challenges, whatever they might be, as challenges, as things that will stop me, instead of seeing them as opportunities where I can learn and pivot and shift, then entrepreneurship is going to be more more of an obstacle, I think, for people who don't have those open mindsets, those growth-oriented mindsets, but instead, to your story with the jewelry, has fixed mindsets, right? So we need to shift our fixed mindsets to growth mindsets predominantly. The third is avoiding the traps. My business partner, Joseph Jaworski, wrote a book called Synchronicity, The Inner Path of Leadership. And as part of that, he wrote about 3 traps. One is the trap of overactivity. And I'm going to add to that, not just being busy, 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 but doing things that, and putting energy into things that aren't going to help you succeed, right? Really pay attention to where you put your energy, slow things down. Don't become part of the trap of overactivity, which is so easy these days. The other trap is about dependency, depending on maybe things that worked in the past and repeating them and expecting to get different results when they don't work in the present, right? We talked about that a little bit too. Pandemic is a great example. And then the trap of responsibility, not being overly responsible for other in ways where it's going to hinder you from actually making some hard decisions. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we got to make some hard decisions about people, places, and things. So that's the third point. The fourth point for me is about trust. Trust yourself and then test. And then trust and test again. You need to keep testing. You need to keep trusting. You need to keep testing to see if your ideas, services, products are something that the market is going to pay you for. I might think something's a wonderful idea and someone might not think it's worth 2 cents. So we need to trust and test, trust and test. And then number 5 really is about innovation, not just innovation, but invention and reinvention, and being okay with that, being agile enough to adjust and pivot and course correct as the market's changing, as your customer base is getting older, dying off, and new, younger customers are coming in. We have to be ready to innovate, reinvent, and adjust.
That's fantastic. So then Susan, for the everyone that is out there, right, and things are not working for the business, they are stuck, things are not moving, they have to work on the mindset. Yeah, what are you recommending them that they should be doing? How they can find you if they need help from you?
Absolutely. Well, they can find me at generoninternational.com. Whether it's me or anyone else, I think that especially today, it's just such a different business environment. Get yourself a coach, get yourself a mentor, join communities where other people are experiencing very similar things. So you have places to soundboard and engage and learn. There's a lot of different communities out there, especially around, what it means to be an entrepreneur. And I'd say the biggest thing with regard to that is whoever you decide to work with, whether a community, a coach, a mentor, a colleague, make sure that they are linked to what you feel you are here to do, and let them be in service to that. Let them be in service to that, because if they're telling you to do X, Y, Z, and that is the way, get out of the way. Don't go there. You want people that are going to help you succeed from a place that calls to your soul, really, if I could say that word, because that's what it's all about. Business is an expression and an expansion of who we are as human beings. What could you express through work that would tell people about the beautiful, unique gifts that you bring to your work and to the world?
And also let's talk about leadership, because when you today, like I said before, right? Some people go into the business, and some people will go into the idea that, oh, I'm gonna have my employee and I'm gonna tell them what to do, rather than allow this space for them. What I think that the people that work for me, they're so good that my only job is be concerned how they can do the job better. Do they need more training? What can I do for them to do the job better, right? So what is your view in the mindset for the leader who's and to enhance and encourage leadership within the organization, rather than the other way around, where it's only one person telling everybody what to do, and there is no space for growth or for leadership for anybody else in the organization?
Absolutely. So the first thing that comes to mind immediately is the obvious, perhaps, but it's listen. It's listen. It's create a space and a culture where you can listen to all your employees, all your stakeholders, have an open door where they can come in and share and create opportunities where you can learn from their experiences. When you're working on different initiatives, maybe your strategic priorities, whatever they are, big growth platform or a new marketing campaign or your strategy, whatever it is, bring diverse groups of people together. If it's a bit of a larger organization, we call it a diagonal slice, so that you have the whole system in the room to be working on these different projects, because that's how you're going to actually differentiate yourself from everybody else. Because one human being, one leader, one person cannot possibly know everything there is to know about the business. The person who's closest to the problem, the person who's closest to the function is the one who has more knowledge than me as the CEO.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's brilliant. And then, Susan, what is the last message that you have for every entrepreneur out there that want to expand the business, that want to have this freedom, and that they want to have a happy life, not only financially, but also in the health, and have time to spend with the children, with the family, and with friends? What is your message for them?
Keep the faith, keep going, because just about when you think it's all going to fall apart, that's the moment when it all comes together.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And with that note, so remember what Susan shared with us today. Yeah, 80% of the success is in the mindset of the entrepreneur, and we all have the responsibility to work and to never give up working in ourselves and in our mindset, and to develop this leadership that organization needs in order to flow in a work environment that everybody is happy and everybody is comfortable and everybody can produce the best they can easy, right? So thank you so much, Susan, for your interview. I really appreciate, and for every single one of you that are following in this series of podcasts, how successful entrepreneurs were so brave that break that wall and achieve the first million in sales. See you in our next chapter of Unstoppable. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.